good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever, wherever you might be listening to us. You've landed on the Guambai Podcast. Guambai Podcast brought to you by Dildo Brewing Company and Museum, located in beautiful downtown Dildo. You can get yourself an Eyes to Buy PA. You can get some beautiful lagers. Fantastic spot. If you haven't been already, get out there and see it. My name is Kevin. I'm in London, Ontario, and I'm excited for this next episode. And I'm here with my brother.
And yes, I'm Brother Darryl, here in the motherland of Whiteway, Trinity Bay, Newfoundland.
Oh, it doesn't get better. Doesn't get better. We'll have a little bit of talk about St. John's later on, but it doesn't get better than Whiteway.
Doesn't get better than Whiteway. The weather could be a little better, but it'll get there later on.
Oh my! Listen, what do you got for me today? What's the? I mean, we got Tim Powers on today as a guest. We
got Tim Powers on, and Tim Powers, of course, is a Newfoundlander in Ottawa.
Oh, he is.
So yeah, so he went to Ottawa some years ago and decided to stay, and has doing really well up there and making a major impact on the political scene in Ottawa and on the country as a whole, really.
Yep.
So what I decided to do was throw together a few questions for you about other Newfoundlanders who have spent a little bit of time in Ottawa. How about that?
Oh, that's pretty good. So like a fella goes, he's on his way, say, to Fort McMurray, and he runs out of gas in Ottawa, and that's where he stays.
Right. Yeah.
Just
pretty
like
much.
that.
Yeah. Stays there, and then he ends up on the Guambai podcast with some trivia.
There you go. So, I think it's worth a try anyway. I don't know how much I know about Newfoundlanders in Ottawa.
Yeah, but before I start in with the questions on Newfoundlanders who ended up in Ottawa, I'm going to give you a little bit of a limber up, a little warm up.
Got a warm up.
I can't send you to Ottawa without a warm up.
Yeah, true. Nobody should go to Ottawa without a warm up.
All right. So here we go. I'm going to give you a Newfoundland term, phrase, word.
Oh, this again.
One that I'm hoping you don't know, so that
good chance
I can get you right away and see how you do with it. So the Newfoundland term or word today is Yanni.
Yanni, isn't that a fun? Isn't Yanni one of the musicians? Isn't he a musician? A musician, pardon me. Doesn't he play music, Yanni?
Yanni, I think that's Yanni, isn't it?
That's Yanni. That's Yanni. Yanni Gord.
Yeah, I think there was an NHL hockey player with last name Yanni one time.
Well, there's one right now called Yanni with first name Yanni Gord.
Yanni. Okay, no, this was the last name years ago.
Okay, Yanni.
He played for Team Canada in the Olympics, actually.
Oh,
Trent Yanni.
Oh, Trent Yanni. Yes. Trent Yanni. Wasn't that back in like the days of Pat LaFontaine and all those fellows?
Oh, way back when we were just wee lads.
Yeah, defenseman, I believe. Anyway, please, for the love of all that's holy, use it in a sentence.
I'll use it in a very short sentence. Not sure it's going to be much.
Well, you got to put some context.
Just a little bit. He looked Yanni.
No. That's not a sentence.
That is a sentence. It's got a subject, a verb, and a noun.
He looked Yanni.
I think it has a noun.
He is the noun and a pronoun. Okay. I would say Yanni is somebody who's sleepy, he wants to go to sleep.
Yeah, that would be one version of, I guess, the non-Newfoundland version of the word Yanni.
That's all I got because I don't have anything else. Because you didn't tell me he looks Yanni. Well, that's no context.
Yeah, I should have said he's not feeling well. He looks Yanni.
That's a better sentence. So
how's that?
That's that. So with that context, I would say that's somebody who's feeling a little under the weather.
Yeah. So it is someone who, so Yanni refers to being pale.
Pale. Okay.
Pale. Okay. You're some Yanni, boy.
Okay. Yanni.
And I guess most Newfoundlanders would be Yanni because there's not much sun, right?
Yeah. Very Yanni.
So, Kevin, we're going to start you off now with Newfoundlanders in Ottawa. And I'm going to start you off with somebody that you probably or maybe have never heard tell of before because I like doing that.
Perfect.
There you go. So here's the first guy, F. Gordon Bradley. Ever hear tell of him?
Never.
Sounds like a baseball player for the Red Sox or something. But
or somebody who owns a chewing gum company.
Yeah, yes. Okay. And I think I just fooled up my first question because it was going to be, do you know the name of the first federal cabinet minister? And it was F. Gordon Bradley.
I'm going to go with F. Gordon Bradley.
Yeah, for $500. F. Gordon Bradley was the first Newfoundlander to be a cabinet minister in the federal government. Now, how about that?
What portfolio, Darryl?
Well, funny you should ask. We're going to get to that in a bit, but we're not going to go there right now.
Okay.
He kind of is a forgotten man in Newfoundland history, I guess, exemplified by the fact that you never heard tell of him. F. Gordon Bradley, or let's just call him Gordon Bradley. Certainly,
FGB. We can call him FGB.
FGB. He certainly appears to be a forgotten man in Newfoundland history, yet he had a long and significant political career here in Newfoundland. He was born in St. John's to a cabinet maker father, and his first job actually was as principal of a school out in Bonavista, a Methodist school out in Bonavista, and a very noble profession, being a school administrator, of course.
Very.
And then he went on to become a lawyer, and soon was elected to the Newfoundland House of Assembly back in the 1920s. He was an associate of Joey Smallwood in the years leading up to the establishment of the Commission of Government, of which he was not a fan. He was opposed to all of that. And he came back on the scene when the National Convention was announced, which was to decide on Newfoundland's future in 1946. Bradley got himself elected to the National Convention, representing this particular area of Newfoundland. And I'll give you 4 choices because you haven't never heard tell of Gordon Bradley. So, you're probably not going to know which area he represented. So 4 choices would be Conception Bay, Bonavista East, Trinity, or Fogo. Which one would you just pick right out of the blue?
Right out of the blue, I'd say Fogo.
Incorrect. Bonavista East was who he represented.
Of course, because you said he taught down there. I should have.
There you go. That was the clue, right?
Yeah.
Joey Smallwood actually was elected in Bonavista Center. So there's a bit of a connection. They continued to have a pretty close relationship, actually. Bradley continued to play a significant role in the Confederation debate and the negotiations leading up to Confederation. He eventually became chairman of the National Convention. Okay. Which was significant because being a Confederate, of course, he kind of was able to help that cause a little more as the chairman of the National Convention. Sir, when Confederation was declared on March 31st, 1949, he was sworn in the very next day as Newfoundland's very first cabinet minister. What portfolio did he hold? And I'll give you 4 choices because you already asked the question, so it means you don't know the answer.
Yes.
Was he the Minister of Fisheries, Minister of Natural Resources, Minister of State, or Minister of Inter-Provincial Affairs?
I'm going to say Fisheries.
So he was the Minister of State. Now, here's the thing. Joey Smallwood, this is a very Smallwoodian thing of Joey Smallwood. Yeah. He was happy with that particular portfolio because the Minister of State sounded a whole lot like the American Secretary of State, which, of course, is one of the most powerful cabinet positions in the United States. Yes. But in Canada, not so much. It was very much a junior portfolio in Canada. But Smallwood liked it because it sounded important, and it was great that a Newfoundlander had gotten a very prominent, hypothetically speaking, of course.
As long as it sounded good to Joey, it was all good.
Later, he wasn't elected at this point, got appointed. Later that year, he did get elected to the district of Bonavista Twillingate as a Liberal member in the government. But he didn't stay in elected politics very long. In the very next election, 1953, around 53, 54, he didn't run for election. He was actually assigned or appointed to the Canadian Senate. And pretty much he spent a few years doing that and didn't really hear a whole lot about him after that. Some people feel that Gordon Bradley would have had a much more prominent political career had the Commission of Government not come in, simply because when the Commission of Government and therefore, democracy was suspended in Newfoundland, Bradley was just entering his prime at that particular point. So really his best years were kind of taken away from him by the fact that we lost democracy here in the province, or in the colony, I guess I should say at that point.
Yes.
So, since I mentioned the Senate, I'm going to talk next about a senator. So Gordon Bradley, as I said, was appointed to the Senate. So I'll move on next to another senator.
Okay, Les, who's that?
Colin Greening.
Ooh, I've heard that name.
You've heard that name?
I've heard that name, but
Colin Greening played for the Ottawa Senators.
Oh, I see. This is what I was going to say. I know that name because of hockey.
Right. So Colin Greening is a Newfoundland hockey player.
He's a Newfoundlander in Ottawa, or at least he was.
And he had a pretty successful NHL career playing professional hockey for 9 seasons. He played 2 years for the Upper Canada College. That's where he played his youth hockey, I guess. Okay. And then he spent 4 years playing for an American university. Can you name the university? I'll give you 2 shots at this one. First, I'll give you just a straight up guess, and then I'll give you 4 choices.
I'll say University of Michigan.
Okay, not one of my 4 choices. So here goes. Okay. Was it Yale, Cornell, Boston College, or University of Connecticut?
Cornell.
Cornell it is.
Yeah.
Ken Dryden School, isn't it?
Yep. I should have known that. I should have just demanded you give me the guesses at the beginning.
No, I wanted to hear what the straight up guess was going to be. He was drafted by the Senators. Get this, in the 7th round, like 200 something overall, whatever.
That's near the bottom.
Yeah, so not a lot of those guys make it to the NHL, but Colin Greening did, and he broke into the NHL with them in the 2010-11 season. He went on to play for one other NHL team. Can you name the team before I give you the choices?
No, I want you to give me the choices.
4 choices. Toronto, Montreal, Nashville, or Florida?
I would have to say Nashville.
On February the 9th, 2016, Greening was traded to the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Well, he couldn't have been there long, could he, or what? I just don't remember that.
No, he wasn't. It was a short stint in Toronto, but he did play for the Marlies for a couple of years. He was a part of a 9-player deal, which saw this Toronto captain sent to the Senators. Do you know who it was?
Yes. Dion Phaneuf.
Dion Phaneuf. So Colin Greening was a part of that trade.
I see. Okay.
He retired from professional hockey. I think he may have suffered from some serious injury of some sort, but he did retire from professional hockey after the 2018-19 season, and he went on to attend Harvard University.
Wow.
Smart cookie.
Cornell and Harvard, both Ivy schools.
Smart cookie. So,
yep.
All right. So let's move from senators to generals.
Oh, general.
So I got a general for you.
Okay.
General Rick Hillier. He spent some time in Ottawa, and he's a Newfoundlander. So he spent some time, and specifically, I'm sure he spent time there at different times, but the most prominent time he spent there was from 2005, 2008 as the Chief of Defense Staff. Pretty significant role for a Newfoundlander. No Newfoundlander had ever been in that role prior to this. He was born in 1955 in a small Newfoundland town. Do you know where he was born?
Give me the guesses.
The guesses are Charlottetown, Gander, Gambo, or Campbellton.
I'm going to say Campbellton.
You got it right. Pride of Campbellton, Newfoundland.
Yep.
And he studied at MUN.
Can't beat MUN, bud.
You can't beat MUN. He obtained a degree at MUN. Do you know what the degree was in? What discipline?
History?
No,
I don't know.
He was a Bachelor of Science.
Okay, he did science.
Believe it or not, biology. He does. So he had a distinguished military career. He first came to prominence in 1998 as commander in charge of Operation Recuperation. What significant historical Canadian event did this Operation Recuperation refer to?
Do you give me guesses or do I have to guess?
No guesses. Just think January 1998.
It was the ice storm in Quebec.
It was the devastating ice storm that struck both Ontario and Quebec, yes. And he was the guy
who had the worst of it. Eastern Ontario as well, yes.
After his retirement from the Canadian military, he wrote 2 books. Can you name either one of them?
Nope.
No? I've read both, actually.
Yeah, you're a big Rick Hillier fan.
I am a big Rick Hillier fan, yep. Well, I thought he was great. Actually, I thought he was very real and had a great sense of humor and very personable and just a little bit of Newfoundland injected into the stuffiness of all that is politics and everything else. His first book was his memoir, I guess you could say, or his autobiography, was A Soldier First.
Yes.
Bullets, Bureaucrats, and the Politics of War.
Ooh.
Yeah, the second book is about leadership. It's Leadership, 50 Points of Wisdom for Today's Leaders. And of course, he's
that one I do remember, yes. Yeah, that's more recent.
And General Hillier is pretty big on the speaker circuit and so on leadership for sure.
Yeah.
In 2008, Hillier was appointed to a position with Memorial University of Newfoundland. Mm-hmm. Do you know what position he held from 2008 to 2012?
I think he was a chancellor.
He was indeed. He was chancellor, which is really the ceremonial head of the university, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So we got cabinet minister. We got cabinet minister. We've got a senator. We got an Ottawa senator, I guess we could say.
Yeah, and you got a general.
A general. Well, how about a journalist? David Cochrane. He's in Ottawa, isn't he?
He is. He's a rock star, if you ask me.
He is. He's good at what he does, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's a...
So I just got a couple of questions on our good buddy David Cochrane, who does... It was, I think, probably one of the best reporters that CBC has these days.
I think David Cochrane is also an incredible potential guest.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Yes. David,
so if you're listening, David Cochrane...
You need to come on here.
You do. We want you on World Famous in Newfoundland beyond.
And beyond. I mean, he's in Ottawa.
So David Cochrane also went to Mon. He went to Mon. a lot of people in this category went to Mon. Do you know what he studied at Mon?
I'll say he did political science.
He might have done some political science courses, but his main area of study was English and history.
Okay, I should have had that answer for him. I said history for Hillier.
Well, because, English and history are pretty good things for a journalist, I would think. His first role in journalism was as the editor of a newspaper. Now, do you know which one? But keep in mind the first part of that question.
I would, I believe he would have been, I don't remember the name of it now, but whatever the newspaper was at Memorial.
Okay, so you picked up on my hint very well. You don't remember the name of the newspaper at Memorial?
Oh, I can't.
I read it faithfully.
Yeah, so did I, but I can't remember the name. But
it was a good paper, actually. I don't know if they still
wasn't
do it.
Wasn't it Gazette, was it?
No, the Gazette. There was a paper, the Gazette, but that was the official university paper, much more...
Right. Wasn't a student paper.
No, very bland and conservative.
Yeah.
The Muse was not...
The Muse.
The Muse. Yeah, I gave you the answer.
The Muse.
The Muse was not bland or conservative.
Not in the least. You never knew what you were going to get.
It was very avant-garde, wasn't it?
And that it was, yeah. So he was editor of the Muse.
He was, yeah.
Fantastic.
But it wasn't in the days that we were in there. It was after that, of course.
Yeah.
He's much younger than you and I.
He's a young lad.
In 2011, really kind of, I think, made his career to some degree. He began producing and hosting a political television show here in Newfoundland, CBC NL. Do you know what the name of the show was? I will give you a multiple guess on this one. So here we go. This was a great show. In fact, it's sad that we don't have anything really like it here today. Was it called This Week? Was it called On Point, The Cochrane Report, or Politics Today?
I'll go with On Point.
Indeed, it was On Point with David Cochrane. Yeah. And it was a very good program, very well done. And but you wouldn't expect anything but. He was really good at getting to the point.
It was on point.
It was on point, yeah. In 2016, sadly for us here in Newfoundland, he moved to Ottawa.
Yes.
For the CBC. And what is his official role today with CBC in Ottawa?
I won't get the title right, but I want to say he's the chief Ottawa bureau reporter. Who's
okay? That's pretty close.
You know what I'm saying? I can't. I know there's a title.
It's pretty close, but the only word you got right was reporter.
Okay,
well, but it was pretty close.
I thought he was their chief correspondent or something like that.
Yeah. He's the senior parliamentary reporter.
That's it. Yes, but yes, he's at the top of their heap for parliamentary reporting in Ottawa.
Absolutely. David, if you're listening,
we need you, man.
Please come on our podcast.
Yeah, we need you, man.
So before we end with Newfoundlanders in Ottawa, Kevin, I want to jump back with two more cabinet ministers, only because they played such a significant role both in Newfoundland and in Canadian politics.
Okay.
The first guy I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about is a fellow that you have heard tell of. His name is Donald Jamieson.
Oh, Don, Baz's brother.
And his time in Ottawa dates all the way back. You might be surprised by this. 1945.
I would have said 50s.
At the time, in 1945, he held the distinction of being the first Newfoundlander to do what?
Okay, Darryl, I'm going to say he was the first Newfoundlander to skate the Rideau Canal.
You know what?
But
he could have been the first Newfoundlander to skate Rideau Canal because he did spend some time in Ottawa at a very young age.
Yeah.
So I can't verify whether or not he was or he wasn't that, but he was also the first Newfoundlander to sit in the press gallery of the House of Parliament.
I should have. Yes, he was doing press.
He was a journalist, right?
Yes.
Because from there he reported on and commented on the negotiations between Newfoundland and Ottawa,
right,
that leading up to 1949 and the establishment of the province of Newfoundland. How about this one? On what side of the Confederation debate did Jamieson support? Was he for it or against it?
I know. I think the reason you're asking me this is a trick question, but I say he's for it.
Interestingly, he was opposed to Confederation.
See,
the guy who spent quite a bit of time as a federal cabinet minister was opposed to Confederation.
I got to say, he spent a fair bit of time being paid by the government of Canada long after he was opposed to Confederation.
He was an anti-Confederate, and along with this particular prominent businessman, he supported economic union with the United States. In fact, I think that was the name of their party, Economic Union Party.
Yeah.
Who was the businessman who Jamieson was a partner with? Prominent Newfoundland businessman. 4 choices for you.
Crosbie.
I don't need to give you 4 choices.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was Chesley Crosbie. Chesley Crosbie, he would have been referred to.
And, we're all buddies. I just call
but we're just, we can't mix him up with the...
with the current Chess Crosbie.
With the current Chess Crosbie.
No, Chesley Crosbie, yes.
So Chesley was the leader, and Jamieson was said to be basically the public face of the group advocating for economic union. In fact, John Crosbie, Chesley's son, later referred to Jamieson as my father's voice, because I think Chesley Crosbie wasn't known to be a great orator. In 1951, Jamieson partnered with another pretty significant Newfoundland businessman, a fellow by the name of Jeff W. Sterling. I'm sure you've heard tell of him.
Yes, indeed. And
they obtained a license for a new radio station in St. John's, which led to the establishment of stations throughout Newfoundland, as well as in 1955, the establishment of CJON TV, which later became known as
CBC.
No, NTV.
NTV. Okay.
Yeah.
Tricked me on one of these before.
Jeff Sterling, NTV. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
You had been away a long time.
I have been away a long time.
Do you know when Jamieson? So he did that. That was his next venture, was radio and TV. And he was a journalist on both radio and TV and became very well known in Newfoundland. Of course, that's really, that's a great segue into politics. Journalism is, for sure. Do you know when he entered federal politics? Was it 1962, 66, 68, or 72?
I'll say 66.
Right on. Deadly. Do you know what district or area of the province he represented?
Did he represent what, I don't know what it would have been called then, but was he part of Trinity Bonavista, like that area, or no?
No, that would be our area. No,
he wasn't. He wasn't with us, was he?
No, he wasn't. No.
Buren?
So I'll give you a second. What's that?
Buren?
Yeah, Buren, Burgeo, and later Buren St. George's, but basically South Coast, right?
Yeah.
And I guess he wasn't from there, but he had a bit of a connection with Swift Current on the Buren Peninsula. So in 1968, Jamieson was appointed Minister of Defense Production. I don't know if you know much about Jamieson. Do you know any of the cabinet portfolios that he held?
Was he?
Besides that one.
Was he at one point Minister of Fisheries?
No, actually, no, I don't think he was.
I don't think he held the senior cabinet position, did he? Maybe he did. Minister of Immigration?
Yeah, no,
I wouldn't know.
That's a bit of an unfair question. I would say to you that his cabinet posts were actually kind of in the middle, right? They weren't the small junior ones, and they weren't the very top ones. But in 69, he was Minister of Transport. 72, Minister of Regional Economic Expansion. 75, Minister of Industry, Trade, and Commerce. Well, actually, in 1976, this one would be a big one. Probably the biggest one of all that he had. He was one of the senior cabinet ministers, I guess, over that long career. Yeah. He was Secretary of State. Well, no, Secretary of State for External Affairs. So he wasn't the Minister of External Affairs. So no, it wouldn't have been Yeah. So, but fair in the middle range of cabinet posts for sure. In 1979, he resigned and came back to Newfoundland to run for the Liberals against then leader of the Conservatives here in Newfoundland, Brian Peckford. But he lost the election and soon retired from politics after that. And his last public role in government or in public life came in 1983 when the then Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau appointed him to this role. And was it ambassador to the United States? Was it appointment to the Senate of Canada? Was it to be chairperson of the CBC? Or was it to be High Commissioner to London?
I think he may have been the ambassador to the U.S.
He was not the ambassador to the U.S. He was the High Commissioner
to London. I knew it was one of those two.
Yeah, he was the High Commissioner to London.
I was like, I my memory was he had some sort of diplomatic role, and I just couldn't.
Yeah. Once his term was up, he returned to private life in Newfoundland. His partnership with Jeff Sterling had been dissolved, and he obtained ownership of some AM radio stations here in Newfoundland. And sadly, in 1986, he died as a result of a heart attack. And I think he was only about 65 years old. So he died relatively young, but a giant politician in the history of Newfoundland. Speaking of giants, the last one for you, one of the biggest giants of all.
Okay.
John C. Crosbie.
John Crosbie.
Spent some time in Ottawa.
He did spend a lot of time in Ottawa and was probably one of the most well-known for his wit and his humor and his quick retorts, like the guy. And
I would argue probably one of the most influential Newfoundland politicians of all time. Actually,
my heavens, he had incredible portfolios.
He was born in 1931 to a prominent St. John's family. His father was Chesley Crosbie.
Yep,
that we mentioned a couple times now today, and he attended high school at a private school in Ontario. It was the same private school that Frank Moores attended. Do you know the name of the college?
I think it's St. Andrews.
St. Andrews College.
Yes. Yep.
Do you know what his profession was?
A Crosbie?
Yeah.
He was a lawyer.
He was. Do you know where he studied law?
Dalhousie.
You are on a roll.
Yeah.
You know you're John Crosbie. What about his first position in elected politics? Where was it or what was it?
He was a part of Joey Smallwood's cabinet. They signed him to the cabinet as a councillor, I believe. He was just office. He was in City Council, St. John's. That was
there you go.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about higher politics, but
yeah. No, I said first.
Okay, so he was a city councillor in St. John's.
1965, St. John's City Council. In 1966, he became the deputy mayor, but very, very briefly. And Smallwood tapped him to sit in his cabinet, even though he wasn't elected.
Unelected, right?
Unelected, became the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing. But Crosbie and Clyde Wells,
yes,
another giant of Newfoundland politics, famously resigned from Smallwood's cabinet, of course, over their concerns about the refinery in Come By Chance and the financing of the refinery and that sort of thing. And they sat as Reformed Liberals. In 1969, Crosbie ran for the Liberal leadership when Smallwood announced that he was going to retire. Smallwood, though, later re-entered the race to succeed himself.
Good old Joey.
So they had this, they had a leadership convention down at Memorial Stadium. How many leadership conventions had the provincial Liberals held up to that point in Newfoundland since Confederation?
I think that would have been the only one.
You're correct. The answer is zero. They didn't have any conventions.
Like up until that moment, there had not been a leadership convention or review or anything else.
No, of course not. It wasn't very democratic.
No.
So Joey, called the convention, and then he decided to try to succeed himself. Crosbie lost the convention to Smallwood, a convention that and everybody else knows, of course, that bitterly divided the Liberal Party.
Yep.
How many votes did Smallwood beat Crosbie by?
That's a tough question.
It is. So I'm going to give you four choices. And I mean, I know it's going to be a guess, but let's just see if you get it. 27, 138, 231, or 630.
I'll say 138.
Incorrect, but good guess.
Okay.
It was 630 votes. Crosbie got, a little over, somewhere over 400. Smallwood got about 1,000. But Crosbie's support was, although significantly less, it was pretty solid. And they were pretty diehard supporters. And a lot of those people left the Liberal Party afterwards, given what had taken place. Crosbie was one of them. Crosbie left in 1972, joined the Tories, became a cabinet minister in the Frank Moore's government of the mid-1970s. And in fact, a lot of people felt that to a larger degree, Crosbie was the de facto premier of Newfoundland in that he had such influence and importance within the government. He decided, though, to leave provincial politics and run in federal election in 1976. And he became, a little later in the 1970s, when Joe Clark won the prime ministership in the government.
Joe who?
Correct.
Yeah.
Joe who? So Joe Clark, prime minister for a very short period of time. What was it? 6 months? 9 months? Something like that?
I feel like it was 9 months, but I could be
9 months. 1979. Do you know what portfolio John Crosbie held in Joe Clark's short-lived government?
I believe he was the Minister of Finance, and I believe it was his budget that brought the government down.
Indeed, it was.
Yeah.
He presented a tough budget. Tough times in the late 70s.
Yeah.
It included tax increases in what Crosbie quipped as short-term pain for long-term gain.
Mm-hmm.
A motion of no confidence on the budget brought the Clark government down on December 13, 1979, resulting in a new election, which the Tories lost. Clark's government would last a total of 9 months, as you said, less one day, apparently.
Okay.
Crosbie famously described it as long enough to conceive, just not long enough to deliver.
Very good. Yeah, it's very good.
In 1983, the federal Tories decided to have their own leadership convention. Yeah. Crosbie ran for the leadership despite his inability to speak French. Mm-hmm. Where did he place in the leadership race? What place?
You're not giving me guesses. I'm going to say third place.
Third place it was, behind Brian Mulrooney and Joe Clark.
Joe who?
How many votes did Crosbie get on the second last ballot, the last one that he was on? Was it 234, 654, 858, or 903?
658.
Yeah, very close. 858.
858.
Yeah, he did quite well. I think he had about 28% of the vote on that third ballot, the second last ballot. So he was very respectable, especially given that he couldn't speak the second official language.
Well, right? He was bilingual, but just not French.
Of course, Mulrooney led the Conservatives, won a majority government in 1984. Mm-hmm. Crosbie played a big role in his government throughout the years of the Mulrooney government. Mulrooney, in his eulogy of Crosbie, even, gave quite a bit of praise and credit to Crosbie for the role that he played in his government. What was considered his biggest, Crosbie's biggest accomplishment during his time as Minister of International Trade?
Well, I would say that would be the negotiation of the free trade agreement.
Yes, it was. He was. Crosbie himself was a free trader. He believed in it, and he was played a big role in the bringing in of the free trade agreement. What ministerial portfolio did Crosbie have when he ended his political career, as he was finishing off?
I think he was the Minister of Fisheries.
He was indeed, and he famously presided over the closure of the Northern Cod Fishery in 1992, the moratorium. And after retiring from politics in 1993, he wrote a book. Do you know the title of the book? Also one I have read. I don't know if you have or not.
I do know, and
and it's quite good. I would anybody who's a political junkie, I would recommend reading this because it's very, very honest, very kind of tells it like it is, which of course you would expect from John Crosbie.
Is this book called "Pour Me Another Tequila"? No, I can't remember the name.
It's called No Holds Barred.
Yes.
My Life in Politics. From 94 to 2008, he served in this position with Memorial University.
Chancellor.
He was chancellor as well. Yep. So there you have it. John Crosbie. He was appointed, really wasn't finished there. He was appointed Lieutenant Governor of Newfoundland.
That's
in
right.
2008, and served a term there as well. And in fact, as Lieutenant Governor, he kind of got himself a little bit of criticism one time when he wore this particular article of clothing during an event with Prince Charles and Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall, when they toured Newfoundland in November of 2009. What was he wearing, do you think?
I can't remember if it was a sealskin coat or a sealskin vest.
Well, it might have been the vest, but it's I read it was sealskin coat. So there you go. You got some 2 or 3 cabinet ministers. You got some Ottawa senators. You got some journalists, a general. All Newfoundlanders who have made their mark in Ottawa. It's a pretty significant mark for sure.
I am going to rest well tonight thinking of Don Jamieson skating up and down the Rideau Canal. So it's a fantastic thing.
Probably a fast skater too.
He had to be. I think you'll be happy to know that in a minute now, as we get ready to turn the tables on you, that John C. Crosbie also happens to be a category world famous in Newfoundland. So world famous in Newfoundland, brought to you by Crooked Arse Creations. Some of it you'll like, some of it you won't, whatever. That's coming up right now. Tim Powers is coming up here, and we're going to ask him about John C. Crosbie because he worked for him and he's a relative. And we're going to find out how much Darryl knows. Let's welcome in Tim. And we're happy to welcome for our segment, world famous in Newfoundland, somebody who needs no introduction because, of course, he is world famous in Newfoundland, Tim Powers. Welcome to the podcast, Tim.
World famous in Newfoundland. So we're starting off heavy with the BS. All right. Well, yes, right. Glad to be here, guys. Glad to be here.
So world famous in Newfoundland is brought to you by Crooked Arse Creations. Crooked Arse Creations. Some you'll like, some you won't, whatever. You're not a crooked arse, so are you, Tim?
Not at this time of night. No, I'm pretty good right now.
That's good. Have you seen the Jesus, Mary, and Joseph T-shirt going around? It's got an icon of Jesus and Mary Brown in the middle and Joey Smallwood on this side. That comes from Crooked Arse Creations. It's quite a good shirt.
They're missing the Pepsi in there, clearly. I mean, you got to think of adding that next time.
Anyway, look, we're really glad you're here. Tim Powers, of course, everybody knows, a regular contributor to Power and Politics as a part of the Power Panel, Summa Strategies, sometimes radio host on VOCM. So like I said, world famous in Newfoundland. Ed Smith used to tell me, Tim, that he was world famous in Newfoundland. So
well, you know what, Kevin, that's very nice of you. But look, I'm controlled by the George family. Right behind me is a picture from your uncle, a painting from your uncle Cliff. My house is full with Cliff paintings.
Is it full?
Well, I've got like 6 of them because your Uncle Cliff and my mother Debbie got to know each other when Cliff was saving ponies and she was saving pussies when she ran the SPCA in Newfoundland. That's how they became friends.
That's funny because Cliff, our cousin, not our uncle, but our cousin Cliff, I was watching Power and Politics one night and I tweeted Tim and I said, Tim, please tell me, is that a Cliff George painting behind you? Because we recognize Cliff's art. Incredible Newfoundland artist, of course. Big shout out to our cousin.
Well, before you get off this, I have to tell you. So you're not the first one. On an average, this is true still, about once a week, I will get an email. Who did that painting? Where did you get it from? And I tell them who. And Cliff still hasn't given me a cut. I mean, what is going on with this?
Listen, so the object here is, because Darryl has just reamed me over to Coles on Newfoundlanders in Ottawa. He's just gone through a whole segment of asking me ridiculous questions that there was no way to answer and so on. And now I get to turn the tables on Darryl and put him up against somebody who truly knows what's going on in Newfoundland, Tim Powers.
And I'm telling you, Tim, he does turn the tables on me. He takes it easy on the guest, but he does turn the tables on me. So rest assured, he won't take it easy.
It's the prerogative of the youngest, right? So, and
brotherly love.
He's got a lot of years of payback to make up for.
Anyway, look, so we're going to do 5 categories, and you're each going to get a question in each category. And here are the 5 categories. I figured we've got 3 alumni at Memorial University here. So one category is Memorial University in Newfoundland. Another category is the Royal St. John's Regatta. Ooh. You like that one?
Good towny question. I better not screw that one up.
That one's not for Darryl. Newfoundland place names.
Oh,
something like Tickle Sounds and Bites, right? Newfoundland place names.
That's better.
And you brought this up earlier, but the Newfoundland pony.
Okay.
The Newfoundland pony. And the last category, you might like this one, is John C. Crosbie.
If I don't win that one, I'm never getting allowed. I'm never going home.
So,
Tim, you can see right away how this is tilted, right? This is tilted in your favor, I can assure you.
Listen, I sent Kevin a few beer from our brewery earlier. They're not as good as the dildo beer, but we try.
You got a brewery going? What's your brewery?
Yeah. Our brewery is called Dominion City Brewing Company here in Ottawa. I'm just glad I didn't own it when I was in my 30s. Me and four other guys, and we're doing okay with it.
Well, that's fantastic. I will have to make it. All right, so you've got the categories. We're going to flip a coin here. Heads or tails? Tim gets the call.
Tails.
Tails it is. You get to go first.
I like these rules.
So again, it's Memorial University of Newfoundland, Royal St. John's Regatta, Newfoundland place names, the Newfoundland Pony, and John C. Crosbie.
Ooh, I don't want to go with the one that should be the easiest for me. I'll go Memorial. That could be even ground here. Let's see where we go.
Okay, here is your question. What is the motto of Memorial University of Newfoundland? And I'm going to give you multiple guesses. So your choices are: seek ye first the kingdom of God, choice A; launch forth into the deep, choice B; truth and usefulness, choice C; or do what you do, choice D.
Oh, Jesus. I say B.
That's very good. That is the answer. Launch into the deep.
So, Kevin, I want that in Latin, please.
Nope, not doing it. You tell, but a bonus point, Darryl. You tell me what it is in Latin.
I'll pass. I don't want to. I don't want to impress you too much here.
Yeah. Anyway, Darryl, you get to have a Memorial University question. Hey,
what was the first course I did him on? That's
funny you should ask. You should ask about the one that my first grade at Memorial University, 25%, and here I am preaching. That was on math, which is why I don't.
Me too, actually, Kevin. In calculus, I didn't do very well for.
No, same one, calculus. All right, Darryl. Memorial has 7 faculties and 6 schools. The schools are the School of Graduate Studies, School of Music, School of Pharmacy, School of Human Kinetics, School of Recreation, and a School of Social Work. Name the 7 faculties.
Oh my God.
Oh, jeez. You see?
I have confidence you can do this.
Let's see. I'll give it a go. I don't know. Education.
Yep.
I know that one.
That's one. Yeah. Yep.
Arts.
Yeah, you should know that one too. That's 2.
So, yeah, I got the 2 that I got, right?
Yeah.
Science.
Yes, you're 3 in.
Engineering.
Yes, you're 4.
Business.
Yes, 5.
Education, arts, science, engineering, business. Geez, trying to think of the buildings. See, no multiple choice here, Tim. No multiple choice, right?
He's hard on you.
Oh yeah, no.
Jesus, ever.
I think he's doing pretty good. He's got 5 out of 7 right now.
2 more.
Am I allowed to assist? No.
I think you might need a push in a minute. I'll give him another second here. There's a rather large building on the campus. Yeah. Very large, that a lot of Newfoundlanders go to, Darryl.
Yes.
Darryl, hint, health sciences. What is that, the faculty?
Medicine.
Yes. Now you're down to 1 more, which is related to medicine.
Would be pharmacy?
Nursing. Pharmacy is
nursing. Oh, come on.
I gotta put you out of your
well, what's pharmacy? What's pharmacy a part of?
It's a school of pharmacy. There are 6 schools, I told you.
Oh, you said the schools. 7. I didn't write them down. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But I think
I want 5/7 of a point for that one, please.
I think you should get that. That's great. Excellent job. All right, Darryl, you get to pick next, buddy.
Oh, I'm going to put the pressure on Tim on this one. Let's go right away with John C. Crosbie.
Now, for the listeners here, there's a connection to John C. Crosbie. You worked for John C. Crosbie. Yes.
Mm-hmm. I worked for him. Keep going. There's more to it than that.
You're related to him. Yes.
I am related to him. Indeed.
What's the connection?
My mother and John, the late John, are first cousins. And the other connection, that's he was the master of ceremonies at my parents' wedding.
Oh, wow.
Many years ago. Yeah. Before he did his Dale Carnegie courses and improved the way he could speak.
He was a pretty good orator.
I'm sure he was pretty funny even back then.
He was indeed the best. I don't know if people know this. Quick sidetrack before we get to it. So, he was Minister of Fisheries, and I used to travel with him, as did others. Neither he nor I really like fish. So try to go to a fisheries event where they don't feed you fish. Jeez. I would always say, I get him seated. I'm like, you know what? Sorry, I don't mean to be rude. I'm not really an Ontarian. I'm not leaving because I don't like the fish, but I got to do calls. It was so I grab a dinner roll and something to go drink. And I go around the corner. It's like, I can't eat any fish. I'll barf if I eat the fish.
All right. So Darryl gets the question first. This one, December 2nd, 1987. You remember that day, Darryl?
Yes. Great day. Yeah.
Yeah. Question period. Ottawa.
Yes. Question period. Yep.
John Crosbie was asked by this MP whether the CN Tower was up for sale along with all the rest of CN assets. John Crosbie responded, I think I said all of CN's non-rail assets. Now, unless the CN Tower can go chewing along, it's a non-rail asset, and presumably the honorable member knows what he can do with the CN Tower. Who was he talking to, Darryl? He would have been talking to the speaker, but who was
yes,
he
directing?
Yes.
Well, there's a few possibilities. I'm getting a multiple choice on this one, I hope.
I can give you a multiple choice.
Please.
If you like. Was it Mark Lalonde, Sheila Copps, George Baker, or John Chrétien?
I'm going to go with the person he sparred. I know he sparred a lot with Sheila Copps, but you said he. So I'm gonna say George Baker. I'm going to go with George Baker.
Now, Tim would have known that.
Yeah, you are indeed correct. Now, here's a funny story. Again, I don't know if you guys know this. So John and George used to call each other before question period. So I don't want to ruin the illusion, but some of that stuff may have been set up, and they both loved it. Both great performers. Yeah. George is an awesome character. Yes, and neither one of them was a shrinking violet, as they say.
No, that's good.
Okay, so Tim, here's your question, a similar question. Under fire from reporters for having not read this important document. Yeah.
Oh, Kevin, you don't even have to finish your free trade agreement. Come on.
He knows the answer before I even give the quote. Can you tell?
I didn't read the goddamn agreement. Do you expect me something like that, isn't it?
He said, I once sold the Encyclopedia Britannica, and I never read every article in it to sell it. Believe me. I once sold vacuum cleaners, and I never once vacuumed a house. I can hardly lift it, much less read it all.
And then that would all be true on the vacuuming. Ask his wife Jane, still alive, just releasing a book. She would tell you, John.
Fantastic.
John would think a vacuum was probably some kind of tennis ball firing machine. He wouldn't know what the hell that thing was.
Just imagine, though, if we had a politician today that just spoke the truth like that, right? Just said, I think people would love them, right?
Yeah.
Except John's humor might go over today, Darryl, but the truth would. I know. Yeah. I think the country misses people like John Crosbie. You are right on that one.
We don't have those same personalities anymore. You get to pick the next category.
Oh, those are the two good ones. Well, let's go to Cousin Cliff's specialty area, Newfoundland ponies.
Tim Powers, the Newfoundland pony. In the past, the Newfoundland pony was used, as we know, for plowing, assisting with gardens, hauling kelp from the beaches, gathering hay, carrying wood. Great beast of burden in Newfoundland, and used for transportation. They were successfully used and bred to withstand the hard climate of Newfoundland. Now, during the mid-20th century, increasing mechanization and a ban on free-roaming ponies contributed to an incredible decline in the population. Increased exports of horse meat to France almost led to its total extinction in the 70s. In 1935, it's estimated they were at their peak. Approximately how many ponies were estimated to be on the island? I'll give you multiple choice because your name is not Darryl. Were there just over 9,000 ponies, just over 10,000 ponies, just over 12,000 ponies, or just over 15,000 ponies?
I go with the last one, 15.
Oh, that one will be wrong. I got to go to Darryl on this one now, Tim, and see if he's listened to Cliff any better than you did.
I'm not sure.
What would Clifford say, Darryl?
There were a lot of ponies around here. That's for sure.
Yes, we had one.
And we had one ourselves, didn't we?
Yeah.
I'm going to say 10,000. Kevin?
No, you're both wrong on that one. It was just over 9,000. The estimated population.
I guess we're getting no discount, Darryl, and any of Cliff's art going forward because we got that one wrong.
You fellas are out now. Now, Darryl's question. So, Tim, listen closely because this will come back to you. There's no multiple.
Just listen now, Tim. He's going to ask me to name the names of every Newfoundland pony ever.
I think it'd be a push to get you to name the ones Dad said he owned. That would be enough. So, a Clydesdale stands at least 18 hands high, which is roughly 6 feet tall, and weighs between 1,800 and 2,300 pounds. Newfoundland ponies are decidedly smaller breed of horse. So what will be the range of hands or height and weight.
I just got to guess this right off the top.
I'm not giving you multiple guesses on this. I mean, that's ridiculous. So
a Clydesdale is how many hands? Tell me what that one is.
That was the little bit I gave you was just to give you a comparison. A Clydesdale is 6 feet tall, 18 hands. 18 hands. 1,800 to 2,300 pounds.
Okay, well, I'll cut it in half then. Okay. Nine hands. And how many pounds? Oh, geez. How much is a Clydesdale?
Between 1,800 and 2,300.
So I'll say about 900.
Okay. I'll give you a half a point. The half a point is for the hands. The range of hands is 11 to 14 hands, but the weight's a little lighter. Average between 400 and 750 to 800 pounds.
Oh, they were still got as big as 750 pounds. Wow. Yeah. All right.
800 pounds, it says in Dr. Fraser's book I got over there. Darryl and I remember Dr. Fraser from living out on the track years ago when he was, so there you go.
I wouldn't. So Tim, Newfoundland ponies now in St. John's, not something you would have.
There's lots of horses' arses in St. John's, Darryl, but there's not.
That's very good, Tim. All right. Tim gets to choose now. Or no, Tim chose Newfoundland.
No, I chose,
right?
yeah.
So Darryl gets to choose now. We're down to Newfoundland place names and then the regatta, Royal St. John's Regatta.
Well, I'm sad to say I've never attended a regatta, so I'm going to stay away from that one. I'm going to.
Mon Dieu.
Kevin, have you been to a regatta?
Culturally deprived, Darryl. I mean, Jesus, you guys have been culturally deprived. You could have rode the Newfoundland pony down to the regatta.
Regatta Day is a holiday for us. We don't go. We don't go down to Kitty Vitty, right?
Don't go anywhere.
We used to go to Chester Daw.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, that's close. No.
Once when I was at Memorial, I ended up down at Regatta Day.
You were in the beer tent. You were in the beer tent pretending you were the Newfoundland pony. Were you right?
They were riding me, Tim. All right. So what are you at?
Yeah, so I'm going to go with Newfoundland place names. Hopefully, there's some out this way.
Okay, Darryl. One of the very few communities in Newfoundland named after a woman is this community. There's more coming. Sorry. The Reverend Mother Foundress of the Presentation Sisters of Newfoundland and Labrador. She moved to Admiral's Cove in 1853, but she died there only a year after in that community, was buried under the chapel there, actually. It's quite an interesting story. Anyway, I won't tell you all that. According to convent records, she was just a little bit about her, remarkable for peculiar sweetness of disposition, exalted piety, and unbounded charity, and a burning zeal for the glory of God and the good of her neighbor. Nice lady. Why wouldn't you name a town after her? Her death was like her life. It was most holy. When the post office was established in Admiral's Cove in 1960, the town needed a new name to distinguish itself from similarly named communities. And so Admiral's Cove became...
and that's it. But of all place names in Newfoundland, I got to pick one.
Yeah.
The only one that pops, when you said it's named after a woman, I was thinking Lady Cove, but that's not it. So I'm going to go with Mount Carmel.
That's not bad, but that's not the answer. Tim, do you know this one?
Isn't there a St. Teresa's?
No, there probably is, but that's not it either.
No.
It's
Nolan's Cove. I don't know. What is it?
Port Kippens.
Oh, Jesus. Speaking of the Lord, how would you know that? He would or she would.
All right. Okay. All right.
So what, her name was Kippens?
Her last name was Kippens, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was thinking her first name too.
But there's a great book out right now called Newfoundland Place Names, just released this year. And that's where I read about that.
Okay. Port Kippens. No, I've never heard of that place. I got to tell you.
Yeah. Tim Powers, you get a question about place names too.
Okay, fire away.
This place, at least according to the members of the Flat Earth Society, who have everything mapped out, so to speak, with various corners of the great flat disk we live on, all within defined geographical locations. This place, it says, it may come to a surprise, may come as a surprise to some that there are 5 corners, according to the Flat Earth Society, not 4, but 5. And this place is one of those 5 corners of the flat Earth.
And I've been there, and it is that place on Fogo Island.
Yes, it is. Do you know what it's called? You remember?
Oh, no, I just remember.
No, I think Fogo Island's a win. It's a win.
Okay. No, I don't. Yeah. What is it? So
Brimstone Head.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a beautiful spot.
So they've got something there that denotes the
there is a sign there or a monument inscription there.
Yeah. So I think
Darryl, pretty bad. I mean, come on, buddy. I've been living here in Ottawa too long, and I figured that out. You're losing your rural Newfoundland cred here.
So I think we've exhausted them all. There's nothing left.
No, we haven't done regatta. Come on.
Oh, I thought you said you'd do a break. We got to do the regatta. So Tim, it's your question first because Darryl picked.
So wait now, Tim, have you actually participated in the regatta?
I have not rowed in it. No, that's the one thing.
Okay.
But we live. My mother's house is just everybody listening will know this reference point above the stadium. So we just kitty corner, go down Lake Avenue, right around Kitty Vitty Lake. I've run around Kitty Vitty Lake about 8 million times.
So you grew up with the regatta in your backyard.
Pretty much, but I don't know what. Well, anyway, let's see what Kevin's got for us.
What I want to know is who was chasing you. Why would you be running around Kitty Vitty Lake?
Listen, I used to be a bouncer at Trapper John's on George Street. I got chased by lots of people.
Cruise row 6-member Coxswain's fixed seat racing shells, as you know, they're as identical as possible and are the property of the Royal St. John's Regatta Committee. Right. That's just a little background for people. The question I have for you is, how long is the men's course? And how long is the women's course?
Now, I know they used to know the record time, so I got to be able to do the math here because Outer Cove had the record forever.
Yes, they did.
And then it was broken, but they had it for like 70 years, and I'm just buying time. This is what you do on TV when you don't know an answer. You keep talking until it comes into your head. I have to guess is it 2,000 meters?
Oh, that'd be very, very close. Very, very close.
So do I get a chance?
You can get a chance. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this year they've actually made a decision to combine the two. There's not going to be a male and female. There's going to be just
mixed race.
Just the same distance, I believe.
Yeah. Which is?
I'm going to go with 1,800.
No, you went the wrong way though. It's 2.45 kilometers.
Yeah, I was trying to do the math on how fast.
And so the women's was, I guess, because Darryl said it was 1.225, half.
Oh,
okay. So
that's going to be a big change then. Yeah, huge.
Yeah. All right, Darryl, you get a question too, which Tim will probably answer because you won't get it right because you never went to the regatta.
Well, this is this is the question I want.
Okay. How do you say regatta?
When is regatta day? I want that one.
It's the first. No. Come on. That was the first Wednesday in August.
I think that's the only one I know.
This is almost as soft. I will say this is almost as soft.
All right, give her.
Darryl, what do people mean when they use the phrase regatta roulette?
Regatta roulette.
Regatta roulette. What is that, Darryl? Did they go down to the pond with a pistol or what? Like what's going on there?
Regatta roulette. Would that be about whether or not the day is going to go ahead?
It has to do with the weather, yes.
You're close.
Yeah, you're right on it.
So, I'm close.
Well, consider St. John's being a place where you can really have a good time.
Now you're feeding your brother the
Tim, tell him what it is. He doesn't know.
I don't know.
Darryl, and I've had to play it once or twice before, even when I was guest hosting VOCM. You decide on the night before whether you're going to enjoy yourself to such an extent that it may be hard to function the next day. That is regatta roulette.
Right.
Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Now you can play multiple games of roulette if it keeps getting canceled, though your body and mind may not thank you for it. But
so good time to check in with Eddie Shear or somebody like that, and get a heads up before you
If you're down on George Street, Darryl, and Eddie is banging back the beers, you're safe.
Yeah.
But if he's being reticent, it's like, So
the AccuWeather is not good there. AccuWeather is not good.
No. Regatta roulette. I thought that was quite an interesting turn of phrase when I read it. I didn't know it either, Darryl, just so you know.
You guys have been deprived. I mean, my goodness, you don't know regatta. You've saved yourself many Tuesdays going into Wednesday.
The other question I got for you is, you've met a lot of people in your work and your travels and stuff, a lot of politicians, a lot of leaders. Who's the most, who's the one that kind of really made the biggest impression on you, and why?
I said, who made the biggest impression on me? Honestly, I'll sound like I'm sucking up. I've met a lot of people. Yeah, you're right. Been very lucky. Met lots of different leaders and stuff. But I tell you, it's actually it's going to sound like I have an Oedipal complex here, but it's my own mother who gave me the best advice ever about going to Ottawa. You put your pants on one leg at a time. She ran the SPCA in Newfoundland for years. As I said, that's how she met Cliff. And I look at her and I've learned so much from her about, humility, humor, getting it done, being kind to people. And I've been lucky, as you say, Darryl, to meet all sorts of interesting people. I mean, I tell you one other one. Can I tell you this, Darryl? Now you triggered it. The real interesting guy was, again, through rugby more than through politics, was at the Rio Olympics because I was doing some stuff with Rugby Canada. And we met Gary Player, the legendary.
Wow.
This is an iconic guy. And he stood and talked to us for 20 minutes, and just a real gentleman, that thick South African accent of his, no airs about him. It was quite fascinating.
That's awesome.
It's funny how that's the thing, that when you meet somebody who's real and authentic, right? It just makes it makes all the difference, doesn't it?
But after tonight, it'll be Darryl and Kevin George. It'll be Darryl and Kevin. Ask me this question.
Anyway, listen, thanks a million for doing this. We appreciate you making time.
Anytime. And thanks for what you guys are doing. Honestly, it's so nice to have a touch of home and to listen to your podcast. You're getting lots of great traction. Keep at it. And maybe Darryl can up his game on trivia next time. We'll see.
And when I'm in Ottawa,
get to the regatta. I got
to get to the regatta. Then I'll be able to answer the regatta questions.
And if the world's ever conspire to put the three of us in Newfoundland at the same time, we'll have to go to the Dildo Brewery. And if the world's conspire for the three of us to be in Ottawa, then we have to go to the Dominion Brewing House.
Dominion City, because we don't want to get sued by Dominion Ale. Dominion City Brewing Company.
Dominion City Brewing Company. I am on Canada Post as soon as we get off. So,
thank you so much, Tim. Man, it's great. Really, really generous of you. Thanks. It's been fun.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Well, folks, I got to say, I feel like I say this every time, which is what an incredibly kind and generous human being to spend time with us and really laid back and fantastic Tim Powers was. Darryl, what do you think?
Oh, just absolutely great, great fun and great sport. And knows a lot about Newfoundland, a lot more than I do.
He knows more than you do.
Which is not that hard, obviously, as you can tell.
Not paying Tim a big compliment there. But anyway, but I got to say, I'm looking forward to finding Tim at the Dildo Brewing Company or up in Ottawa at his brewery and having a beer. Because
the Dominion City Brewing Company, I think.
Dominion City Brewing Company. Thank you. I was forgetting the name. And I definitely, I could see that in the future. So thank you to Tim. Now, so we're going to do the lightning round. This is our favorite part of the podcast, Darryl?
Yeah, it is. Loves the lightning round. And the lightning round today is going to be all about Newfoundland symbols.
Oh, symbols like the
not that kind. Newfoundland symbols. Icons. Oh, you're going to know all these symbols.
No, I don't think so. But anyway.
You're going to know every one of these. You might not know the answer to the question, but you're going to know the symbols.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Start the timer.
I'm not going to make it that easy on you.
Yeah. Okay. Let's have it. Start the timer.
All right. Here we go. What is the main color of the Newfoundland pitcher plant?
Purple, red?
Purple. You got it right off the top here. On the Newfoundland and Labrador word mark, Newfoundland and Labrador logo that the government uses, what direction are the pitcher plants facing?
I'll pick left.
They are facing left. There is a tree represented by a twig on the Labrador flag. What type of tree is this twig representing?
Tamarack?
Black spruce.
Right.
Name the three colors found on the bill of an Atlantic puffin.
I'm going to say orange, black, and white.
Orange, yellow, and gray.
Oh.
I'll give you 2 out of 3 on that one. Gray, black's pretty close.
Yeah.
Ptarmigan is the provincial game bird of Newfoundland. How many species of ptarmigan live in Newfoundland?
8.
2. The willow and the rock. The Newfoundland pony is the provincial heritage animal. What is the most common color of the Newfoundland pony?
Gray.
Brown.
Should know that we had a brown one.
I think Brandy was brown, wasn't he?
Brandy was brandy color. She was brandy color. Yeah, which is brown. Yeah.
Oh, that's why she was called Brandy. There you go. How many triangles are on the Newfoundland and Labrador flag?
Oh, 12?
6.
Oh, well,
You're going to have a look.
Yeah.
The motto on the Newfoundland and Labrador coat of arms is
Seek ye first the kingdom of God.
Thank you. That means I don't have to say they're Latin. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. What graphic appears on the logo for this year's provincial government's Come Home Year promotion?
It's a humpback whale.
Good for you. What way does it face, or is it tilted?
Depends. Well, come on. Are you talking about the bottom chin or the back of the head? I mean,
it's to the left. It's to the left.
Okay, fine. It sways to the left.
Yes, it sways. She's jumping to the left. What objects are contained on the NTV logo in addition to the letters N, T, and V? What other two objects are on the logo?
The globe and stars.
How many stars?
3 stars.
5 stars. A 5-star network.
Oh.
What item does the logos for the Liberal, PC, and NDP parties all have in common?
Newfoundland parties, you're saying?
Yeah.
The Newfoundland flag.
Right on. Finally, we'll end with a beer.
Yes, good. I'm
as all things
now.
as all things should. On the Jockey Club beer label, what object is shown with the horse?
Horseshoe.
Correct. Good job. You did well on that.
Not bad. Darryl, lightning round was excellent. The questions about the Newfoundlanders in Ottawa were just excellent. Tim Powers, what a great guest. And you pick him up on Power and Politics and VOCM and watch his work from Summa Strategies. We've had a great episode and a good time. I've enjoyed it. I hope you have too.
Oh, absolutely. It's been wonderful.
All right. Lots to learn. We'll be back the next time. In the meantime, there's nothing else to say but
go on, boy.